Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Moore, and you are watching Justice for America. Amen. The program where we try to bring you some current social events from a biblical perspective, looking through the lens in the eyes of God. So today, this is February 28th. We are on a Tuesday. We do this program every Tuesday, February 28th. And the year of our Lord 2023, and this is episode number 37. Now, we have a number of important things to talk about today, and in case you missed some of these things, you will already have seen this week if you're paying attention to those sorts of things. Hi, Debbie, nice to have you. When you come on, give us a shout, let us know you're there, and we'll hopefully, if we see you, we'll talk back to you. So we're going to talk about a possible pending war between the United States and an alliance of Russia and China. That's kind of a big deal right now. We're going to talk about Rhumba, the little robot vacuum cleaner, iRobot vacuum cleaner that goes around, is taking pictures of you. None of these things are conspiracy. We do, of course, give you my opinion, but we're also giving you facts, and we'll go through a number of links today that you can refer to and make up your own mind. So, amen. And then we're going to talk about parents who are being imprisoned for the transgressions of their kids. And that is a real thing, and that's very important. And also a little bit about the global awakening that's happening right now. And there's my beloved. Love you, babe. Thank you. So before we get started, I know there are a number of people who watch this program that are believe in prayer. And so I think there are three places right now that really need prayer. There's tons of places that are in need. The whole world's in need, right? But let's talk about three places. Number one, Turkey. And I'll hit these real quick. Turkey has had its third earthquake. I don't know if you heard that or not. They are estimating now right before this earthquake, the third one happened, about 50,000 people have perished. And hundreds of thousands or I think they said about 100,000 injured, and multitudes homeless and just in a very bad situation. So please don't forget. Sometimes these news cycles go through pretty quick, and we kind of stop and we don't think about these guys anymore. But these people are really in need. Amen. And if it were in our area, we would be thinking about it. So let's ask the Lord to help us think about that. Also, South Africa, I just found out this morning, is on the brink of collapse. Very possible that because of some power outages and just a long-standing economic and political unrest. Hi, Gene. God bless you this morning. Nice to see you, friend. So South Africa really needs, I don't have links for these three things. So, hey, Tammy, God bless. Nice to have you. But let's remember South Africa. And then also in Ohio, just found out that they're estimating right now roughly about 43. Now, this is going to be stunning to you, so listen closely. 43,000 animals have perished. Now, that's an approximation. I apologize, I don't have a link for that, but you should be able to find it yourself. These are not on crazy sites, okay? 43,000 animals have died as a result of the disastrous decision, the calamity of exploding and burning toxic chemicals and releasing them into the atmosphere. All right, so let's pray for those. So we're going to jump right into the links today. The number one is titled, and again, I say this often, I change the names of these links because some of them, simply writing the name down will get them bounced. Now, it's a good time to mention that we do have a second YouTube channel called Justice for America. If you are watching some of our programs on our Words of Encouragement channel on YouTube, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to that, hit the subscribe and then hit the notification bell. Please do that. But if you are subscribed to the Words of Encouragement YouTube, but you haven't yet subscribed, they are two separate channels, and it is extremely important for the algorithms that we have those who watch subscribe and hit the bell. Even if you never watched another program, it helps us to be able to get the word out for real. So please, please go to our YouTube channel, Justice for America, which is where this will be downloaded to. It won't be downloaded to our regular YouTube, which is Words of Encouragement. You understand there's two of them, right? Words of Encouragement, Justice for America. You won't find it on Words of Encouragement, but you will find it on the second YouTube channel, Justice for America. And then, of course, as always, Rumble. We have no way of knowing. Some of the links, okay, I'm just going to say it right now. Some of the links that are on here today have already been tagged. And we're talking about huge entities with hundreds of thousands of followers. When they tag one of those guys, it's a big deal. So anyway, we're going to be talking about some issues this morning that very likely will be bounced off, and maybe I'll go into YouTube jail. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And so, and also be looking for a website that we're in the process of creating. We're going to be downloading our YouTube, our Facebook, our Rumble videos onto that, my own personal website. And it'll be kind of an informational hub. You'll be able to find out where we're speaking. You'll be able to find out, there's a whole bunch of pictures on there of places we've been and stuff we've done. Salem House of Prayer, whatever. Anyway, so that's coming. Rumble, very big deal. If you're not on Rumble, you need to be. All right, so this first link, I've changed again the name, Russia for War. Now, this is from a place called End Time Headlines. Basically, what's this link is about, and again, some of these are readers, but usually the reading takes less than the watching, so don't shy away from the reading if you can help it. But one, and again, I'm not going to throw out the names right now, but one of the people that speak for the Russian government has basically come out and said that America has crossed a red line concerning some of its involvement with Ukraine and Crimea. I'm going to let you read it, okay? I don't typically like to tell you everything that's on there. I want you to go and read it. Hi, Tanya, my love. Good to see you. Take the time to read it. I think probably if you take about 1 hour, you can go through all of these, at least watching. Some of the longer ones, you won't be able to watch the whole thing in an hour. You can watch first 10 or 15 minutes. Anyway, this explains real quickly, and some of this is just rhetoric, okay? We call it saber rattling, where one side is out there. You've seen the movies. You get two opposing sides, and one of them's out there screaming their heads off, firing guns in the air, rattling their swords, and the other side's doing the same thing, People do this, all right? And nations do this. Countries do this. So every time that somebody gets out and is a blowhard and says something, and it's going to be the mother of all wars and, crazy rhetoric, doesn't mean it's true. However, you can't ignore it either. And so this is one you're going to want to read. It's about them saying, okay, this one thing that America has done concerning Ukraine and Crimea is crossing a red line. We are literally moving towards, I'm going to say it this way. I'm going to put myself out here, all right, if you're ready to listen. I believe if the Lord himself does not intervene, we will go to war with either Russia or China or both. Now, why do you say both? Now, and again, I'm not going to apologize for that statement. I do believe the way things are playing out in the natural, except for the intervention of the Lord, which, by the way, I am contending for in intercession, believing God for, okay? Nobody in their right mind wants a war, okay? In their right mind. But if things are allowed to continue going the way they are, that is the inevitable end, the inevitable consequence. Now, why do you say both? Because China, now you understand the concept that the United States has allies, okay? I hope you have allies in your life, people that you ally with, people that are like your friends, your BFFs, your spiritual partners, your spouse, of course, your family, hopefully, people, your pastor, people at your church, they are allied with your allies. You can go to them, they can go to you. That's an ally. Well, the United States has allies. Okay, a number of countries around the world are allied with the United States, and we'll protect you, you protect us. You get that basic concept. Well, some of the countries we are not allied with, or they're not our allies, they themselves have allies. Russia and China are now each other's allies. So the picture that I put on Facebook is just a picture of Putin and President Xi. I'm embarrassed I can't say his name right. I always mess up his name. I'm not sure why. President of China, XI is how you spell his name. Xi, Chi, whatever. Chi, whatever. Stop. Okay. And President Putin of Russia, China and Russia have said, shake hands, sign a contract. This is real. This is not supposition. This is real. So they are now allies with one another. What does that mean? That means a godless nation, a nation that has, both nations really have made atheism their state religion. Do you get that? Say, well, atheism isn't a religion. Actually, it kind of is. Okay, a system of believing, of your belief about a deity or multiple deities. Okay, Confucianism, Buddhism, multiple deities, Christianity, one deity, Judaism. One. So your belief about a deity, whether it's 0, 1, or 100, that is a religion. Okay, and both of these massive world powers have embraced, for the better part, atheism as the doctrine of their country. Okay, so things have changed somewhat. I'm not going to go into all that. But the idea that these two countries have joined hands now, and they're not doing it just so that they can pat each other on the back. Okay, you have to have a bigger picture. One of my great desires for this program is to help you see the bigger picture, because we can get lost in the minutiae, and there's so many things going on all the time. All right. So what's the end game? Why would Russia and China, who have at times formerly been enemies, why would they make a pact together? Oh, and by the way, let's just throw in this, Iran has been a part of that, become an ally. I won't go into that right now. You've got some extremely, hear me now, demonically inspired. I'm not going to apologize for saying this. I know most secular politicians obviously would not go down this road, but I'm going to say it, number one, because I believe it to be true. These entities, these governments, not the people, right? Don't confuse the people of a country or a nation with the governance of the nation. They are different things. You have segments of the nation that are aligned with the philosophies of the government, the governance, how they govern, and their laws and so on. And then you have people that are not aligned with it. They just kind of feel like they're forced to go along with it. So don't say everybody in Iran is wicked, because they're not. Don't say everyone in Russia. There are believers in Russia. There are non-believers in Russia that are good people that don't even agree with their governance. Just be smart about your vernacular and what you're saying and so on. But these are demonically, for the most part, or for the largest part, in my opinion, demonically inspired systems of governance, and typically the majority of the people that are involved in those systems of government, whether it be communism or totalitarianism or whatever, are inspired of Satan. They really are. Okay? And as the tree goes, so goes the fruit. Jesus said that. All you got to do is just look at the fruit. All right, so this does not bode well for the world, okay? These powers coming together. So again, the program here, not to make you frightened, not to make you freak out, but to inform you so that you can respond in the way you live your life on planet Earth, which in my humble opinion, the most important thing as you're looking at the social environment of the planet and of your nation and of your state or whatever is to respond by saying, Lord, I'm yours. I belong to you. Help me to live. I have the 3 H's that I go by. I want to be holy, because nothing matters if you're not. I want to be healthy, because it's hard to enjoy life if you're not. and I want to be happy, wholly happy and healthy. And then this morning, a fourth H, which makes me part of 4-H, I guess. A fourth H came to my mind. I want to be helpful. I want to help you. I want to be helpful for my family and for other people, my friends, for you guys who watch and so on. All right. So that's number one. President Xi, whatever his name is, and then President Putin have a line together. And it is ultimately in the big picture for the purpose of global. I know it sounds melodramatic to say global conquest, but that is really what it is. You call it something else, whatever sounds better to you, and doesn't sound so Star Wars-ish, but that's what it is. Okay. All right, so, and again, all of these links that I put on here are easy to find. There's a multitude of information about most of them. I just picked one, so I'm not saying these guys, Fox News, U.S. military, whoever are the best, or Jim thinks no. They're just the ones that I know I can rely on for the most part. All right. Are you aware? Okay, we talked a lot about AI on this program because it directly affects you, whether you think it does or not. Hey, how many know that truth is truth, whether you believe it's truth or not? Okay, and the truth is AI is already intrinsically involved in your life, hey, whether you know it or not. Okay? Here's one example. I could probably list you, just sitting here in my home, I could probably rap out 20 different things that have AI currently involved in them. This phone that I'm looking into, Facebook, this, my laptop, my refrigerator. I mean, I could just go on and on. So please don't think this doesn't affect you, or I don't really care about that. I don't have Alexa in my home, blah, blah, blah. No, you are involved when you go to the gas pump, when you go to the grocery store. You get what I'm saying. All right? So Rhumba. Now, I've got one of those little circular robotic vacuum cleaners. I think they're actually kind of cool. I didn't want one, but you know what? They do keep the floor clean, and it's nice. Now, I don't know if it's the same for all of them. My guess is probably Rhumba, I think, is like one of the top ones. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm an old guy. I can't keep up with everything. Okay. But my guess is when one does it effectively, typically what happens is the other guys that are down the chain, they're doing the same thing. So probably the one sitting right here in my house has got AI too. I don't know. So the link that I put on here is a verified by Rhumba, okay? By the iRobot, or not industry, but company. Again, watch the short little video. They have admitted, okay, this is not a story. This is not a makeup. They have admitted that their Roomba vacuums take pictures and they get uploaded to the cloud. Now, why did they have to admit that? Would they ever come out in the first place and say, oh, by the way, you kind of want to be careful about what you're doing when your little Roomba circular, sucker-upper thingy is running around your house. You want to make sure that you're not indecent or something, because, by the way, it's taking pictures of you and uploading them to the cloud. So what happened is somehow, who knows, somehow, through human error, human design, or AI, whatever, accidental, whatever, they got released to the internet, to the public. So here's this poor woman sitting on the John, okay? Sitting on the porcelain stool, the throne, whatever you want to call it. Le toilette. I mean, it's not like pornographic, but still. And this got out there, hey, Ange, this got out there, and then, it's like, hey, Roomba guys, what gives? And they're like, oh, our bad. Yeah, they've been taking pictures who knows how many millions of pictures have been taken by these little vacuum cleaners that are little cutesy-wootsy floating around here. Now, I haven't got anything in my home that I'm concerned about them taking pictures of. But if I were, I'd shut the dang thing off. I'd throw it in the garbage can. We have to be aware of these things. If you're aware and you feel like it's okay, then that's on you. Go ahead. But don't you think that people ought to know. Don't you think that Rhumba ought to have some kind of, responsibility to at least tell their people? Okay, so, and we've seen the same thing with the little nanny cameras and stuff like that. Guys being able to hack into them and spy. There was a thing here a while back where some guy was spying on people's children in there. I mean, these guys have a responsibility. So some of this is not about, oh, it's super, super bad, super, super evil. It's about holding people accountable, making them responsible. Hey, if somebody can watch me through my coffee pot, I want to know about it. All right, Leanne, God bless you. Nice to have you, honey. All right, so that's number 2. Let's move on to number 3. I think the reason I wanted to put this one down is because we need to be aware of what we have. We need to be thankful. One of the earmarks of the, we use phrases like the end days and things like that. Whatever. I know people, they love a phrase, they wear out a phrase, they get tired of a phrase, blah, 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 blah. We got to be smarter than that. The Bible talks about a transition when the kingdoms of this world become the kingdoms of our Lord. We know we're moving towards that. Armageddon, the coming of Jesus, all of that. Okay, so one of the earmarks of the age that is talked about prior to his return is that people will be unthankful. Let me just ask you real quick, are you thankful? I know we all say yes. Nobody go, yeah, I'm an unthankful wretch. Nobody says that. But sometimes we forget to be thankful. Anyway, we need to be thankful that we live in a country where somebody is not watching how we interact. I mean, they probably are to some degree. Okay, it's not a conspiracy. They are watching. Rhumba's watching. Okay, North Korea has, it's like it's never enough. The bondage is never enough. Taking away the freedoms, never enough. Control, never enough. I have heard the most horrendous stories that have come out of North Korea in their attempt to control people. So you cannot be a Christian and live or face going to prison. Okay. Now they have said, parents, if your children, you need to look at this one, are caught singing songs that we don't approve of, talking like their enemies in South Korea. How do you talk? I don't know. How do you talk like a South Korean? I'm in Texas. I haven't really developed the y'all thing. Howdy, y'all. So nice to have you, y'all. I mean, I do that a little bit without realizing it. It's kind of fun, But apparently South Koreans, which is a democratic, I believe it's our ally, United States ally, has a certain kind of a twang or a dialect. I don't know what it sounds like. But these people in North Korea who love freedom but don't have it and have to worship the dictator Kim Jong-il, or else they'll put him under a steamroller. I mean, it's just, I don't even want to go there. They're now saying, hey, if we even catch your kids having a little bit of a y'all accent, a South Korean accent, we're going to put them in prison. And listen, they're labor camps. I could not hardly make you believe how demonic they are, okay? Not only will we put your kids in prison camp, parents, we're going to put you in prison or even kill you depending on the seriousness of the offense. Let me just read a real quick quote out of it. It's just one of many. You should read it. This is what the state, North Korea, says. This is what they recently put out and made a decree. If the teens are caught watching South Korean movies, imagine that. These are real people, okay? They will have to go to a prison camp for 5 years. Oh, America's so bad. Oh, we hate America. America, you yucky. Ooh. Come on. Could travel. Just travel. Go anywhere. Anywhere in the world, travel. Okay. I don't want to rant. They will have to go to prison camp for 5 years, and their parents will go to the labor center, which is in essence the same thing, for 6 months. If the offense was that they talked, danced, no dancing, or sang like a South Korean, then they and their parents will serve 3 months in the labor center. And then it goes on to say, if a more serious offense happens, they can be put to death. I have zero tolerance for people in this country that badmouth. Now, I might be considered one who badmouths the country. I'm not badmouthing our country. I am helping people to understand the corruption that has invaded our country. Our country was founded on some really godly principles and smart principles. The Constitution is not just some old archaic dust-gathering document. It is the foundation for democracy. It's a foundation for the republic. It's a foundation for helping a people not only be able to govern themselves, but also to have responsible government, because they get to say who's in government. So much of that is just gone. It's just gone. Deb, God bless you. Nice to have you. So the reason we put these out, you need to be aware that North Korea, okay, what's the other place I was just thinking of? A number of countries, let's just say a number of countries, Russia. These countries did not necessarily start out the way they are right now. Many of them at one point had a form, a kind of a republic form of government. Even though ours was new and different and it was the great experiment and so on, yes, I get that. But tyranny at its current level right now has grown. And it has grown in this country, and that is why we are making people aware of these things, because the only thing, aside from divine intervention, which we're believing for and asking for, the only thing that will stop that as far as human involvement. Okay? We still have the power of our voices and the ability to stand up and say, no, that's wrong. You can't do that. Now, right now, we're right at the apex of possibly losing that. I think we were right at the point we could have lost all of it. FBI, one of our links, the FBI being weaponized. The media, which is how we get our information and how we speak up, how we stand up and say what we say. We do it through media. Don't fool yourself. It's not just all one-on-one. These things were right at the crux. Think of the tip of a roof, okay, the apex of a roof, the tipping point. I believe we were right here at this point, and had not so many people begin to speak up from the governmental level, our hired representatives, they work for us, representatives, had they not spoke up, had people on the internet, Facebook, it's the only reason. Can I share a secret with the only reason I'm on Facebook? This is the only reason. I'm not on there to show my pretty face every day. Selfie. I don't get that at all. Not criticizing. I'm just saying, it's the only reason I'm on here. I want people to know the gospel, and I want them to know, because I said this and I'll get off this. I want them to know what God's doing, and I want them to know what the enemy, Satan, is doing, because both of them are doing something, and God cares about both of them. Mark it down as the truth. It is the truth. He's always cared about both. He always will care about both. And I don't get a hall pass to say, I only care about the one, not the other. Okay? All right, so in saying that, let's talk about a couple of these are social issues, but they're of God. What's God doing? They're number 4 and number 5, number 4, just number 4, massive. You can find this anywhere on the internet right now, especially if you are connected to some truth-telling. And they're not all telling the truth, okay? Some of them are speaking out and out lies. I'm talking about media outlets. And some of them are simply omitting what is true so that, they can only focus on what their agenda is. So if you can find the ones that are willing to really just say it all, I want the truth. Just tell me the truth, for heaven's sake. Those are the good ones. One of those is CBN. They did a thing about the Asbury revival and some of the things that are breaking out. I've covered this pretty extensively. Hi, Heather. Hi, Nora. Bless you guys. Good to see you. So I don't want to go into these real deep, because I took about 4 different programs and talked mostly just about these issues. So Just because the news stops covering it, don't you stop looking for it, because God is doing wonderful things around the world right now. What started at Asbury, I talked about the film Jesus Revolution, talked about The Chosen, talked about what happened at Asbury, talked about the fact that it's breaking out all over the planet, really, in the United States and other places. We are in a season that many have prayed for. If you haven't prayed for it, it's okay. You can still be involved, okay? But please, please, please don't ignore it. So that's a good one, number 4. Number 5, one of the people that is on the burst onto the scene in a fresh way is Tulsi Gabbard. Now, she's been involved in the political realm for a long time. Was a Democrat, governor, if I'm not mistaken, of Hawaii, as she says, Hawaii, however they say it. They have a way of saying aloha, okay? Tulsi's a smart cookie, and she's almost as smart as my wife, just saying. I believe that Tulsi could run the country, and I'm not saying I believe she will. I just think she could. Actually, there are 3 women right now involved in politics that are super, super important, I think. And Lord help me not to forget the one. Oh, Kristi Noem. Okay, she's the governor of, I think, South Dakota. I always get South and North Dakota mixed up. Kristi Noem, sharp, a believer, okay, and powerful, articulate, anointed. And then Tulsi Gabbard, who has come out of the Democratic Party and said, I cannot abide with it anymore, not just politically, but morally. And I know people say, well, I'm not concerned about these issues. I'm only concerned about moral issues. Listen to me. Please use your head. Please think this thing through. Don't just parrot what everybody says because it sounds good. Think about this. If a moral issue like killing babies or murder or treating your brother or sister right or whatever, if a moral issue comes into the political realm, does it cease to be a moral issue? I mean, friends, come on. So there's a battle raging. These are 3 women that I believe that what God is doing among women in the world today is absolutely fascinating and stunning, and it's just going to keep increasing. There's always a false move, where it's about, we don't need men and blah, 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 all that crazy. But there's a real thing, too. So Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, and Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley has put her run in for the president. I don't think she's going to gain much ground on that. I don't think so. That's my opinion. I'm not prophesying. I'm just saying I don't think she's going to do it. Hi, Cassandra. God bless you. But there are 3 women to watch and 3 women to pray for. All of them believe in God. I don't know where their relationship with Jesus is, but yeah. Number 5, Tulsi speaks about what happened in Ohio. If you're kind of on the fringes and you really don't see, I really don't get what happened in Ohio, you would say, yeah, I knew they blew the thing up, but I really don't get what the big deal is. Listen to Tulsi. 15-minute, something like that, very well laid out, and you will be brought up to speed if you watch this. Basically, what's happened there is probably, up until this date, I'm going to say it this way. I know it's going to sound like I'm out there a little bit, but I'm going to say it anyway. Probably the worst environmental disaster the United States has ever known. Now, maybe not other countries. You've got nuclear, things that have happened, but I believe that this could turn out to be the worst as ever. Not that that makes it any more important, but I think it's more important than most people realize. Again, at the beginning of the program, I said they're estimating now about 43,000 animals are dead because of this. And not to mention the multitude of sicknesses. You're not hearing most of what's happening. All right, so listen to Tulsi. You're going to like what you hear or appreciate, her view. So I did talk about Putin and Russia and their alliance. I'm not going to go over that much again. Go back to the beginning of the program and listen to this. This is perhaps the most serious thing that's happening right now on the dark side in the world right now. This has tremendous potential to affect millions of people's lives. This is done by a guy that I know a lot of people, you may not like him, but you need. He lays this thing out very well, okay? Much better than I could. And he's basically talking about bait and switch. Now, do you know what bait and switch is? Bait and switch is when you see an advertisement for something that looks really good and inexpensive and quality, and then you go there and they're like, oh, we don't have any of that anymore, or oh, that was really the breakdown model, and it costs 3 times as much to have the next step up, which is the only thing available. That's what we call you. They bait you and then they switch. So this is Glenn Beck. Please don't not watch him because you don't like him. Don't be that way, okay? Look for truth regardless of whose mouth it comes in. And he's talking about how. Now, this is super important. Have you ever heard the saying that if you can't beat them, join them? You ever heard that? You can't beat them, join them. This is a tactic of leaders, rulers, good and bad. It's not a good tactic, but some good leaders have fallen prey to it. And could I say again, I know this program is watched by a number of non-Christians, but I'm sorry, that's who I am. The enemy himself embraces this tactic. At one point he's saying, worship me, and the next point he's trying to quote scripture. Okay. Vladimir Putin is a demonically inspired man who has killed perhaps millions of people. Okay, this is not a good person. But what he is doing right now, and this is why you need to hear what Glenn is saying, he is seizing upon the moral high ground. He is looking at the wickedness, the debauchery, the decline in morality that's happening in the United States, and using that as a platform to present himself as some kind of a crusader for righteousness. You may have to watch this one a couple times to really grasp what we're saying. Okay, it's the bait and switch. It's like, hey, I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy here. Ukraine is corrupt. Did you realize, and there's a lot of issues involving Ukraine right now. Do we need to, because it's an American ally, do we need to stand by our commitment to protect them and to fight for them no matter what? There's a part of the people that would say yes, simply because they are our ally, no matter what kind of people they are. There's the other group of people that talk about the wickedness. There is wickedness beyond your understanding. I guarantee for 90% of you, there is human trafficking. We're talking about state-sponsored. I'm just going to say, unimaginable evil happens in that country. They're not a bunch of saints. And again, we're talking about governance, not all the people, okay? The people are people. Some are good, some are bad, whatever. We're talking about the system, okay? And so there are those people that say, no, we need to get out of there. We need to let it go on. And I will just say this. Vladimir Putin is not a good man. Okay, he's not, his intentions are not to Christianize Russia. Please don't be deceived by that. He is not a follower of Jesus. Okay, he is seizing this moral high ground right now because he knows it will work to his advantage. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, that's when you're going to want to watch for sure. Number 6. So I didn't actually that was number 6 was the last one. This next one, I'd like you to click on it. I've got 3 of these links that are by a gentleman I greatly appreciate. His name is Dr. Steve Turley. And I haven't seen any of his videos get bounced for quite a while until today. And this one is dealing with the issue of, I'm going to call it the sickness. Okay? So I don't care about being bounced, and yet I don't want to just be stupid about it because you wouldn't be able to watch this otherwise. So we'll call it the sickness that's happened recently, okay, that affected everyone. So much is starting to come out now. I believe one of the big lessons learned, or that needs to be learned, post-sickness, is that you cannot just be so open-minded you let your brains fall out. Often people have an agenda, and they say, they try to, again, our own government does this. You have the Democratic Party, you have the Republican Party. Each are in various levels. I do believe that the Republican Party does this a lot less. I believe they have much more morality going for them than the Democratic Party as a whole. Okay, but I'm not saying they're saved. I'm not saying they're the God's chosen people. I'm not saying they're fully moral. Not at all. They've done some corrupt things too. But I do believe the greater of the two, as far as seizing immoral high ground, has been the Democratic Party. And this is something that people in their own party have recognized. It happened just a few years ago. There was a huge shift. We're not going to mention God in any of our statements anymore, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you can't just fall for anything. You hear the birds? I have my door open because, yeah. Anyway. Everything about the sickness will eventually come out. Jesus has said everything that's hidden will come to light. Okay? He is committed to bringing the truth out. What are we committed to? Do we just watch the largest news agencies and just accept everything they say with the naive perspective that they don't have any? They're just out there trying to tell the truth. That used to be, I'll grant you that used to be, but that is not the case anymore. So much of what was harangued, I mean, people trying to say, hey, what about this? Oh, you're a this, you're a denier, you're a hater, you're a racist, whatever. You know, this is what happens when you want to win the battle, is you demonize your enemy. Okay? Now, if your enemy is the demon, then that's fine. But just to turn everyone into Hitler because they disagree with you, or to call them some kind of a blank denier, a this denier, a climate denier, a science denier, an election denier, whatever, you just make them a bad by the title you put on them. All that does is keeps people from being open-minded to what the truth is. Okay? So don't hop on that bandwagon regardless of which side, left or right, you know, Democrat, Republican, you know, saved or unsaved. Don't do that. Okay? Now, so the reason I'm saying that is because the first link I put here with Dr. Steve Turley has been taken off. I have not seen, now I'm going to say something, I want you to listen real closely. I have not seen YouTube start putting the sickness warnings. And many of you on Facebook have seen this. Any mention of the C word will get you, because of no, it's not some kid sitting behind a desk. It's an algorithm. They listen for the word. When they hear the C word, the algorithm automatically puts the little box. You've seen the little box that says, for proper information about the C word, you know, blah, 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 hit this link or whatever. It doesn't matter if what you're saying is good, bad, or indifferent. As long as you say the C word, okay, the sickness word, boom, the algorithm goes on there automatically. Now, Facebook's been doing that for a long time. I have not seen YouTube do that until today, this very day today. What they would do is just bounce. I've been bounced off for simply saying the C word. I remember saying that word, getting bounced off, put in YouTube jail, and then them sending me a document through my email telling me why, you know, what you did. And it had to do with the C word. And I'm racking my brain thinking what it is. Now, this is important, what I'm saying, so just don't hang up. Listen to what I'm saying. I was racking my brain trying to figure out what it was I said, because I don't even remember talking about it. Then I was doing an interview with so-and-so. Okay, we did talk about it, so-and-so. So I asked them to send me, listen now, their document of what was okay to say and not to say. It was like a 12-page document. Even stuff from governmental agencies, I'm not going to mention who they are because that will probably get me bounced too. But there are certain governmental agencies that deal with the C word and deal with sickness, okay, that they're the ones that these powers that be say you're supposed to listen to. Okay, WHO, I'll say that one. You get what I'm saying. I was not allowed to say anything they said, good, bad, accurate. They just basically made a blanket thing. No, you can't say anything. How does that make you feel? How is truth supposed to survive the day if people cannot say anything other than what this group determines is truth? So, it's the first time I've seen it. Okay, it may happen to me today. So, I wanted you to look up. This one does not have a number on it. I tend to number the links 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I skipped putting a number on this one because I wanted you to be able to identify this particular one. So click on the link, okay? And I want you to tell me if your clicking on this link goes to where it says it's been taken down. Because I've not, to this point, seen any of Steve's taken down except this time when he talks about Woody Harrelson. Everybody know, do you know who Woody Harrelson is? Okay, Woody's from Texas, okay? Woody talks about the C word. He talks about the sickness. And he talks about how he thinks we've got it wrong. That ain't verboten. You cannot speak what we do not tell you to speak. Okay? How you doing? I can't pronounce your name. All right. This is all over the internet now. It's crazy to try to stop it. And thank God that we have the capacity to hear the truth. That's all. That's what I care about. I don't care about sides. I care about the truth. Okay? Because truth will win eventually. All right. The number 7, again, a Steve Turley video. Anybody out there? Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's commenting. Love to hear your thoughts. Number 7. I call this the inevitable consequence of a lack of proper governance. Now, this is away from the C topic, away from the sickness topic. This has to do with the border. You know, we talk about that frequently because it is a very clear and present danger to the security of the United States. Make no mistake about it. It's not rhetoric. It's not a fantasy. It's not a conspiracy. It is absolutely the truth. It is a clear and present danger to the security of our country. So, a lot of people have awakened to what's happening at our southern border and, frankly, our northern border at the same time. Thank you, Deb. I just want to know people are still listening. All right. You're probably not going to hear much about this except in the negative, no matter where you look for it. I'm just saying. So Steve is talking in number 7 about militias. Now, that's a huge subject. I could go into that in depth. I don't have time to do that. I'm down to about 10 minutes, okay? But a militia is basically an unofficial group of people that take law and order into their own hands. Militias can be extremely dangerous, extremely bad, or they can be a positive and a good thing. Militias have been used to fight in all the way back to the American Revolution. Okay, so they are recognized as having the potential to be very good or very bad, depending on how they're structured and so on. That's all I'm going to go into about that. But what's happening right now that you may not be aware of, hey Dana, militias are cropping up, rising up in massive numbers. Again, you're not going to hear probably accurate numbers on the informational outlets, even the good ones. Okay, but what we're hearing, what we're finding out is there are a large number of groups, not just a large number of people, but groups. So, you know, in the hundreds, okay, of men and women, are you listening? Okay, I'm not justifying, I'm not condemning, I'm just giving you facts, who have said enough is enough. We're not going to let you abduct our kids. We're not going to let you bring drugs into our land. We're not going to let you flip off the United States of America and do whatever you want. So I'm not trying to be crass here. Many of you know that my own nephew passed away as a result of more than likely the fentanyl that's come across the border. And I'm not defaming his name. Was a lovely young man who got caught up. I'm just one person. And I do get very passionate about this. You come between me and my family, and it's not going to be a happy day for you. I'm just saying. That's who I am. Okay? I believe it's a God-given responsibility to protect what has been entrusted to me and come out of me and given to me by the Lord. Okay? I'm very serious about this. And I'm just one man who lost one nephew. Okay? There are literally, and again, it's hard to wrap our brain around it, literally hundreds of thousands of dads, uncles just like me, who have lost people to this plague, this demonic, I do not have enough strong words for this evil plague that has happened. And let me tell you why it's happened. It has happened because one man sitting on a throne in the White House has allowed it to happen. And that is just the truth. Jim, aren't you afraid? The FBI? I am a teller of truth. That's all I know how to do, is just say the truth. The policies of our current administration have permitted the flood of fentanyl to come into this country and done almost nothing about it. Now that is a fact. And Judgment Day will come. So, the militias. I'm not advocating this. I'm not advocating join a militia. I'm not. I abhor violence. Although I believe that if I had to use force against someone intruding in my home and threatening the lives of my family, I would do it. Absolutely. No hesitation whatsoever. So I do know that there are times that even God said you must do this. But I also know that the same God abhors violence and bloodshed. Okay? I know that's a difficult thing for you to wrap your mind around, but it is the truth. So these militias are now, you need to watch Steve's thing, not only, and Steve gets a little over, in my opinion, a little overboard, but still, looking for information. We're not looking for personality. We're looking for truth, right? So there's a whole bunch of these militias. They are not just on now staying on this side of the border. Again, right or wrong, I'm not saying, but they're actually going across the border. They are now, instead of just defending, saying, we're going to go after. We're going to turn our defense into offense. Okay, we're going to bring the fight to you. How dare you do this to our country? How dare you do, because this is not just about some political system they're doing this to. This is about human beings. The atrocities that they have committed on young girls would absolutely make you want to throw up. Okay, and we just would like not even want to pay attention. La 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 la. No, not me, not me. Am I going to la la la? Yes. When I worship Jesus, I'm going to la la. Yeah, maybe I'm bipolar. I don't know. That's how I see it. So look at that one, number 8. So again, let me say real quick again. The reason I titled this, The Inevitable Consequence of a Lack of Proper Governance, the militias that are rising up and going after these things are because our own system has not taken care of the problem. People get tired. People say, you know what? If I can't call 911 and have the police come up and stop an assailant who's got a gun and brandishing and threatening to kill my wife and kids, I'm going to do it myself. You see, we want our elected officials to take care of these things. We really do. But inevitably, you can only push people so far. And they will respond. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Number 8, to change or not to change. So, I actually shared this one already, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But it is about transhumanism. Some of you that's really caught your attention. So look at that one. I'm going to skip over. Number 9. So I talked about Woody Harrelson. Hopefully they haven't blocked this one. Woody, there's 2 things. Okay. And I only put one of them down here. I think I just forgot to put the other one. So Woody has kind of been sort of in the liberal group. I don't know that much about his political leanings in this, but I think he's been kind of more in that camp in the past. But a lot of these guys now they're starting to go, wait a minute. We've gone crazy. This is not borderline insanity. It actually is insanity. We don't even do what is common sense anymore. I am so past, I remember a year ago, 2 years ago, thinking, what is happening to people's common sense? And it has gotten worse and worse and worse. Not for everybody, of course. So Woody, kind of in that camp, has come out. And one thing he did was and I don't know the order of these, so forgive me on that, but one of them was he went on Saturday Night Live, SNL. That used to be a pretty funny thing, but now it's, yeah, anyway. But even SNL, even Saturday Night Live, who has been 100% left, 100% liberal, 100%, even Saturday Night Live has started to come out, and what they do is they tend to roast or mock or make fun of stuff that is obviously worth making fun of. Okay, well, rarely did they ever touch anything on the left or anything left. It was always the right and, President Trump and, all that. Well, now they're starting to roast the left because it's gotten so crazy insane. So Woody Harrelson gets in there and he starts talking about the sickness, the C word. And he gets to a certain point where he drops a truth bomb, and instead of all of them laughing at all of the jokes he's making, they're dead silent. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing is Woody and sitting down and talking to, and this is the link that I put. I don't have the SNL link. This is this link. Bill Maher. Some of you know who Bill Maher is. Ultra liberal. Has been, at least in the past. Again, we were watching him transform as we're watching a lot of liberals go, wait a minute. I believed in it back then, but now it's gone totally off the rails crazy train and nobody even cares anymore. It's all about, as long as we get to maintain power, who cares what we have to do to maintain it? It's insanity. And I don't use that word lightly. I'm not using that as a metaphor. I think it is like a mental disorder, okay? So Woody is sitting there talking with Bill Maher, and I want to give you a heads up. I want to give you a caveat. When you watch this one, Woody is stoned. He's either stoned or drunk or both. So he is definitely inebriated, definitely high, okay, in whatever way he is. I don't know. They're sitting there drinking whiskey. So I hope if that offends your sensibilities, don't watch. But they're sitting there, a couple guys getting a little loosey-goosey on the juicy and talking about the sickness. And Bill is a little hesitant to want to go along with Woody because Woody is just opening up about the crazy. And so I'm going to leave it at that. You need to watch that one. Why is this important? Well, it's not only important because of what Woody is saying about this whole gigantic, enormous beast of a system called the pharmaceutical industry that you cannot even understand its tentacles in the amount of power it has in the world, okay? And anybody that speaks out against it is usually tagged as some kind of crazy person, okay? You need to watch that one. Number 11, along the same lines, I'm out of time. This is a Chinese scientist who worked in a lab in China. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. All right? You need to hear what somebody who's wearing the latex gloves, looking through the microscope, hi Rick, God bless you, who knows what happened. And this is coming out. You guys, this is what I'm saying. It's all coming out. There has been a release just recently, and this goes into number 11, by the Department of Engineering or some governmental department. I don't know what they have to do with the sickness at all, but these guys are starting to come out making statements saying, yeah, it probably was not something that happened by accident, some kind of an animal to animal, we got sick because animals got, no, they're saying it probably, all right. So you need to watch 10 and 11. Now, 10 is really short, but it's really good. It's Tucker talking to this scientist. I know that some of you don't think this is old news. It really doesn't matter. It really does matter. Because what has happened will happen again. I promise you. What has happened will happen again. I can tell you, I would almost say, thus saith the Lord. It's going to happen again. Okay? And it is about controlling population because of the bigger picture of we need to have a global system. Okay? They don't see that as a bad thing. Okay. That's all I'll say. I keep saying that. That's all I'm going to say. And then I say something else. All right, number 11. I want to give another caveat for this one. I don't particularly like this man, not because, well, he postures himself as a comedian, and most comedians, unless they are committed to telling things in a clean way, wind up telling things in a not very clean way. I don't watch comedy because most comedy is profane. Okay, it's just true. Okay, it used to be you could watch comedy. It didn't matter if the person knew the Lord, didn't know the Lord, was a believer, religious. It didn't matter. They were mostly clean because our culture demanded it. Well, now we love them dropping the F-bombs. We love them talking about body parts and all of that. So this guy's not super foul, but he would be what I call crass. So again, if that's going to offend you, please don't watch it. I really hesitated whether to put this one on, but he gives a lot of important. So he'll give a piece of information and tag a joke onto it. Information joke, information joke, information joke. I wish I could have what he said minus all the foolish jokes, okay? But what he said is important all the way to the end. And it has to do with the same issue, okay? The sickness. All right, and then number 12. This is kind of just I wrote it down as a stunning and very emotional testimony. This is a woman, and you really need to hear her heart in this. This is really, I don't know, it moved me. It's all she can do to keep from weeping, and she is an FBI special agent, or was until recently. And she's basically, in just a few minutes, giving her testimony. And it's very powerful, very powerful. All right, so there's not a single one of these that I would say that you shouldn't watch or you couldn't. Actually, I take out the ones you shouldn't. Hey, my number's down. I'm down from 16 to 12. You ought to be able to do that. Keep your head up. Realize that there are very, very good things and very bad things that are happening in the world. They're both true. If you only believe one and not the other, you're going to fall into a ditch. Let me say that again. If you only believe one and not the other, you're going to fall into a ditch. I guarantee it. You got to know, yep, there's good things happening. They're accelerating. Yeah, you want to know about them. You do. They'll help you. They'll help your heart. Okay? And then there are bad things that are happening. Okay? You want to know about those too, whether you believe it or not. You do. You really do, because that will help your heart too. One helps you with the fear of the Lord. One helps you with the love of the Lord and the crossover. Okay? Keep your head up. Be encouraged. Know that God is still in charge. It doesn't matter what happens in the world. He's in charge. And He cares about you. He wants you to know the truth, because the truth will make you free. All the truth. The whole truth. Nothing but the truth. Amen. And the truth is He loves you and He cares about you. So, all right. Got to go. God bless you. I hope this has been helpful. Do take time to look up these links. Now, my wife has seen most of them. So, honey, you're exempt from most of them. But yeah, take the time. Amen. God bless you. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And give yourself permission to have a great day. God bless.